I think a big thing that a lot of people are struggling with is how they're supposed to do whatever it is that they want to do in their life. So let's take weight loss, for example. This is why the weight loss industry is so gigantic, because everyone is obsessed with the how. It's like, how do you lose weight? What diet should I get on? What exercises should I do? What personal trainer should I hire? What gym should I go to? It's like literally we are lost in a sea of information with regards to the how. But I'm going to give you like a real simple answer, and it's going to be an answer that you don't like, is that in order to answer the how, you just have to do. It is literally that simple. If you want to lose weight, pick one form of losing weight, counting calories, and just start doing it. As you do, you will uncover the how. Okay? So we get so obsessed with like finding the perfect how, but there really is no perfect how. Every how is different for every single person. The only way to uncover our how is to do. It's really that simple. But this brings us to the next question, is that once you realize that you know what you need to do. So let's just look at, if you wanted to become a scratch golfer, right? You know that in order to become a scratch golfer, you need to go out and practice. You need to chip and putt every day for 2 hours. You need to go to the driving range, 5 times a week, hit golf balls for 2 hours. Like, it's pretty simple when we put it to something like sports. You know that in order to become a scratch golfer, these are the things that you need to put into place. So you set out, you say, I'm going to become a scratch golfer. And you know what you need to do. The how is figured out because it's easy, because it's sports. Just go out and do it, right? But that same rationality goes for anything in your entire life. Just go out and do it. But here's the thing, what that happens. We go to the driving range once and we stay there for like 3 hours. We're fucking sweating. We're killing ourselves out there. And then day 2 comes, and now we know that today is supposed to be the day where we chip and putt, and probably we're gonna go and chip and putt for a couple hours. But then day 3 comes and you're supposed to go back to the driving range for 3 hours. And guess what? You don't do it. Why? Well, because the kids need to get picked up from school. Your friends called you out and say, hey, we're all going out today. Why don't you come play beach volleyball with us? So then you put the 3 hours that you're supposed to spend on the driving range at the back burner. The bigger question that needs to be answered in this is why you're not doing. What is it that's holding you back? The how is simple, right? The how is simple because it's answered through action. The action is where we get into a problem. It's where we get into this question of what is actually holding us from taking the action that we need to take. And this is where my coaching basically comes in. And when I say my coaching, I mean what I uncovered from my own personal experience. And basically what I learned from my own personal experience was that there was things inside of me that were holding me back from achieving my maximum potential. And what were those things? Well, their belief systems, their behaviors. There were things that I learned from my parents, from my friends, from society. Those were the things that held me back from doing. So here's an example of one. You can't work that hard. Like, you can't just work. You can't go to the driving range 3 hours a day. There's no money in becoming a scratch golfer, right? You can't work out 3 hours a day because it's like you're gonna overwork yourself. You can't weigh your food every single day. That's not practical, right? These are the things that we begin to tell ourselves, and they begin to hold us back from doing, right? But as we just discovered, it is in doing that we're going to discover the how. So now the more important question is for us to get reconnected to who we truly are, right? At the root of who we truly are is when we're going to discover the energy that allows us to push through the resistance that we feel when we start doing. In order to get reconnected to who we truly are, we have to go through a spiritual journey, which is basically the letting go process. One of the big things that prevents people from doing is self-doubt. They don't believe that they have the ability or the know-how in order to achieve their goal. One of the things that you hear people say all the time is, I've tried everything, right? But then when I ask them, what have you tried, right? We come to this realization that they haven't really tried anything at all. Maybe they tried that diet for a week, the results weren't great, and they fell off and went back on to their regular diet. Maybe they tried to become a professional golfer worked really hard and then got one rejection and then just gave it all up and went and worked on the line at Chrysler. Whatever it may be, is like that unworthiness, that feeling of self-doubt, that one thing that's holding us back hasn't been dealt with. And that's why we continue to fail at doing, right? So how do we uncover what it is that's truly holding us back? Okay, so to answer the question of why we're not doing and what is holding us back, it's actually pretty simple. It is in doing. So again, if we start doing, we're gonna face resistances. So if we say, okay, this week, this is when I start going to the gym every single day. This week I'm gonna watch everything I eat. And then when we get to a point where we feel like we don't want to continue going on, where we don't want to go to the driving range every day for 3 hours. When we get to that point, something inside of us is telling us that we shouldn't be moving forward. This is your opportunity to create awareness. And this is the first step in my coaching system, which I believe is what is necessary for us to achieve our maximum potential. It's my 3 R's coaching system, which is, and I'm not here to promote my coaching system, it's just about what it is. It's realize, then it's release, and then it's realign. So the realize part is what you're gonna feel when you start feeling these resistances. So the resistance comes up and you think about eating that candy bar. What you need to do is you need to take a step back and move into observer mode and ask yourself what it is that you're feeling. What is that candy bar gonna make you feel? What is it you're trying to avoid feeling by eating that chocolate bar? Why are you going to the fridge? It's not because you're hungry, it's because of something emotional. Maybe you're happy and you want to celebrate with a chocolate bar. Maybe you're depressed, maybe you're sad. If you come to these realizations, then you can begin to dig deep. And what I call this is opening the door. It's like, it's on the surface now. You're feeling the resistance. Now open the door and try and get to the root of why you're feeling a certain way. The feeling of self-doubt started somewhere. The feeling of unworthiness started somewhere. The feeling of shame or apathy, which is like the victim mentality, meaning like, why does life suck? Why does all these bad things happen to me? Why can't I stick to a diet? Why can't I become a professional golfer? That's the victim mentality. That began somewhere. And it is our goal, in order to realize how to maximize our potential, it is our goal to be free of that, because that is blocking us from achieving what it is we truly want to do in this world, from being in the best shape of our lives, from having that amazing relationship, from making millions of dollars, to helping millions of people, whatever it may be for you. So now that we've done that and we brought awareness to it, we can go to the next step, which is release, and we can be free of it forever. We can do that through the letting go technique, which is basically feeling our emotions. Where did that feeling of self-doubt begin? Identifying that moment in time where it began, going back there and feeling it and being free of it forever. It will no longer be a barrier to our success. After we're free of it, we can put the next step in, which is realign. Let's install new habits. Let's create the habits that are necessary for us to achieve success. Modern science is telling us that it takes 66 days to install a new habit. And there are gonna be points along those 66 days where you feel like you don't wanna go on, right? Those points are your moments of awareness. Use those points to dig into what it is that's really happening in an emotional level, why you're not moving forward. Deal with the root of those issues and it'll no longer be a block to your success. This is how we stay on this consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, is by doing. We move forward, we feel the resistance. Once we feel the resistance, we identify it where it all began, we be free of it, we install a new habit. If you want to achieve anything in this world, this is the model to do so.